Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about switched reluctance motor, that is SRM. Switched reluctance motor is similar to a variable reluctance stepper motor in closed loop operation. It requires rotor position feedback. The SRM has several advantages like high efficiency, good performance in terms of torque to inertia ratio, maximum operating speed, and simple construction. Its availability in various sizes, power, and speed ranges together with its ability in 4 quadrant operation makes SRM an attractive solution for variable speed applications. SRM drive is a better alternative to a conventional DC series motor and variable speed induction motor drives. The performance of SRM drives depends on the control system which is used. Rapid developments in power electronics and digital controllers have made the implementation of semiconductor switching circuits and controllers easy and economical. At present, many industries are using SRM with its full potential. So regarding switched reluctance motor, that is SRM, we will see these contents, that is construction, working principle, basic SRM analysis, then constraints on pole arc and tooth arc, torque equation and characteristics, power converter circuits, control of switched reluctance motor, and as well as sensorless control of switched reluctance motor. So we will see one by one these points. So first we will discuss about construction of switched reluctance motor. Constructionally, SRM is similar to variable reluctance stepper motor. The stator of SRM is built by stacking suitably punched silicon laminations to the appropriate length. It has silent poles. The poles carry concentric windings. The coils on the opposite poles are connected in series to form the stator phases. The overlapping of coils is avoided to minimize the mutual inductance between the phases. End connections should be made very short. The rotor contains no winding or permanent magnet. It is built up of steel laminations. The laminations are stacked to the shaft. Due to this mechanical simplicity, that the cost of SRM is low, which attracts many industries to use this motor. By selecting the number of phases, the number of stator poles and the number of rotor teeth, many configurations of SRM can be obtained. So here in the figure you can see few configurations which are used commonly in the industries. There are 4 figures, that is A, B, C, D. These are different configurations of SRM with stator to rotor pole ratios. Okay, in first figure, that is figure A, there is ratio of 6 to 4. Then second figure 8 to 6. Third is 10 to 4, and last one is 12 to 8. Okay, this is the ratio of stator to rotor pole. So in first figure ratio is 6 to 4. So here 6 is stator poles, you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, 6 are stator poles and 4 is rotor poles. Okay, here you can see 1 2 3 and 4 4 rotor poles are there. So for this figure A, the ratio is 6 to 4, that is stator pole to rotor pole ratio is 6 to 4. The control of input is very essential for getting desired performance. Parts of an SRM drive you can see in next figure. Here you can see the parts of SRM drive. So here you can see DC power supply, then power converter, controller, here current sensor is, then signal process, position sensor, signal process, and here you can see SRM is here. So we will see details of these parts later. Now we will go for working principle. Consider the SRM with 8 stator poles and 6 rotor teeth. Okay, 8 stator poles and rotor teeth 6. Okay, it has 4 phases, that is A, B, C and D. So for each phase there are 2 poles, A dash, B dash, C dash and D dash. Okay, these are 8 stator poles you can see in this figure, and for rotor there are 6 teeth. These phases can be excited by DC power supply through switches S1, S2, S3 and S4. Okay, here you can see in this figure 4 phase 8 pole SRM. So here these are the phase winding, total 4 phases A, B, C, D, and these are windings, namely A dash, B dash, C dash and D dash. Okay, so total 8 windings are there. And these windings or these 4 phases can be excited by switches S1, S2, S3 and S4. So here you can see these switches, and for excitation purpose DC supply is required. So here DC supply is connected. Consider phase A dash. Just consider phase A dash is energized for a significant time so that the rotor rest in the equilibrium position. So in this figure phase A is excited. So in this case A dash phase is energized for a significant time so that rotor rests in equilibrium position. This position corresponds to the maximum inductance of phase A dash. Also this position represents a stable equilibrium position because any disturbance to move the rotor from this position is opposed by the production of an electromagnetic torque to bring the rotor back to this position. Next, phase A dash is de-energized by turning off switch S1 and excite B dash phase by turning switch S2 on. The rotor moves by 15 degrees. Rotor moves 15 degrees in counterclockwise direction and occupies the position shown in next figure. Here phase B is excited. So here this you can see the rotor movement by 15 degree. Next is phase B dash is switched off by turning off the switch S2, okay, and closing the switch S3. Phase C dash, next phase is C dash, gets excited by closing S3 switch and rotor moves in the same direction, that is counterclockwise by 15 degree, okay, and attains this stable position indicated in last figure, that is phase C excited. By operating these switches in sequence S1, S2, then S3, again S4, again back to S1, we can make the rotor to rotate in the counterclockwise direction with a step angle 15 degree. To reverse the direction of rotation, we have to select the switching sequence as S1, S4, S3, S2, again S1, then repeat S1, S4, S3, S2, again S1. So that is the reverse in sequence. The operation of SRM depends on the variation of phase inductance. Inductance of the stator inductance of the stator phase depends on the relative positions of the rotor teeth with stator poles. The phase inductance increases, remains constant, decreases, remains constant, and rises cyclically. This variation depends on the amount of overlap of the rotor teeth with stator poles of the concerned phase. The current in the phase should be forced in the winding when the rotor tooth is just entering the stator pole of that phase. It is therefore essential to know the rotor position for switching. The energized phase should be switched off when the inductance of that phase is decreasing. The conditions for successful operation of switch reluctance motor are: first, the number of rotor teeth and stator poles must be even and not equal. Okay, in last figure we have seen different configurations of SRM with stator to rotor pole ratios. Okay, in all figures we can see the number of rotor teeth and number of stator poles. Okay, so each number is even. So this is the case, the number of rotor teeth and stator poles must be even. As well as we can see both numbers are not equal. Okay, here 8 to 6, 6 to 4, 10 to 4, 12 to 8. So number of rotor teeth and number of stator poles are not equal. So that is the next case, not same or not equal. So number should be even and both numbers are not equal. This is the condition for successful operation of SRM. Next condition is stator phase is energized when the inductance of that phase is low or increasing. Okay, so here we have seen for this figure 4 phases are there. So each phase we can energize, but the condition is the inductance of that particular phase. So first phase, if we consider, that is A dash. So for energizing this phase, the inductance of this phase should be low or increasing. This is the second case. Next case is sensor for rotor position is required. Okay. So for successful operation of SRM, the condition is sensor for rotor position is required. So here sensor for rotor position is required. The rotor position sensing is essential for switching operations at correct instant. Okay, so here we have seen, so first S1 is closed, then S2 is closed, S3 is closed, S4 is closed. So these switches are closed and opened to energize particular phase, and for the switching operations it is essential to check the rotor position. So this is the third condition, rotor position sensor is required to switch the to operate at correct instance. Okay, and the last condition is the flux density is changing in magnitude and direction in the magnetic circuit when rotor moves. This results in iron loss, and to reduce the iron loss, laminated rotor and stator structures should be used. Okay, so the last condition is the flux density is changing in magnitude and also direction in the magnetic circuit when this rotor moves. Okay, here we can see the movement in anti-clockwise by 15 degree, again 30 degree. So when this rotor moves, at that time flux density changes in magnitude as well as direction in the magnetic circuit, and it results in iron loss. It results in iron loss. Okay, and to reduce this iron loss, the laminated rotor as well as stator structures should be used to reduce the iron loss. So there are 4 points or 4 conditions for successful operation of SRM. First one is number of rotor teeth and stator pole must be even and not equal. Second is phase is energized, stator phase is energized when inductance of that particular phase is low or increasing. Third is rotor position sensing is required for switching operations at correct instants. And last condition is flux density is changing in magnitude and direction in the magnetic circuit when rotor moves, which results in the iron loss, and to reduce this iron loss, laminated rotor and stator structures should be used. So in this video we have seen principle of working, then construction and different configurations of SRM with stator to rotor pole ratios. So in next video we will discuss about basic SRM analysis as well as constraints on pole arc and tooth arc. So in next video we will see these points. So thank you for watching this video.